Hi, I'm Dinesh Karthik, and I want to speak about certain trends that happened in the mini auction. Whenever there's an auction, there's always certain key points, the way teams think. And I thought I'll just make a small vlog about what I think the teams were thinking a little bit and the trends that followed in IPL. There were three trends that I picked up on. If you did see the first lot of batters that came through, teams are prioritizing what they want. What that means by that is the likes of Manish Pandey, Steven Smith, when a Riley Russo who came through, they're willing to let go and they're willing to wait for them to come back in the accelerated auction because they don't feel the priority is there. It was very obvious what the priority was for a lot of the teams. It was fast bowlers. And yes, they did make a lot of money. No doubt about it. They waited for all these batters to go back in and then they brought them back in the accelerated auction. That's when Riley Russo went for a high price. Manish Pandey got a look in as well. So it is a very interesting auction that way where they don't want to spend money up front because they want to hold on to it for their most important picks. And then if they have the money left, they're saying, okay, now bring the boys back in and then we're going to bid big for them depending on who we want, which is very, very interesting. Before you could see teams, as soon as a name comes up, they would get excited, bid for them, and the bidding would go on and have enough money left to get the big picks that they want. So that was one trend. And if you did see Travis Head, who was actually a very, very interesting name, Mallika Sagar, the auctioneer, almost put the hammer down before Sunrisers put the first bid. And as soon as the first bid was put, then CSK followed and everybody else followed to bid for that player, and then they took him to a price which was good, and at that stage the team which was SRH wanted them and they took them at that price, and it wasn't easy. So the thinking is very obvious. They are waiting to see what the important players are and they're picking based on that, which is very, very good, a very healthy trend to follow. Teams no more look to increase the price point of a player unnecessarily. It has happened before, but what I did notice in this auction was definitely none of that took place. They were very sure as to what they want. If they're bidding for a player, it's a player they want, not just for the heck of it to increase the price and then let go at some point, because there's a lot of risk involved in that. You end up doing that, and by chance, if the team that you're bidding against decides, you know what, I think we've gone up to the price point that we want and we're going to stop after this, then that player in many ways comes to you and might not be useful enough for you. So that is the second healthy trend, I think. And the third trend is an unhealthy one, not one that I'm a big fan of. What I have noticed is the mini auction is definitely used by players and agents very cleverly, where they bring them on into the mini auction and they go for absurd, unheard of prices, knowing that the teams come in with a lot of money and they have some holes to fill, and hence their price skyrockets to a different level. And I want to take an example. Let's take Jasprit Bumrah. He is at 11 crores. Now, some of the young bowlers that have come in the mini auction have gone for huge prices. Last year it was Cameron Green, last year it was Sam Curran, this year it is Pat Cummins, Mitchell Starc, and it is no fault of theirs. They are just prioritizing their country, their cricket, looking after their bodies and realizing, okay, now I will come in. But also, it is a bit of a tactic, like how in cricket there's a lot of tactics involved. I think players and agents are using this as a tactic where instead of coming to the main auction, which happens every 3 years, they let that pass and come in the mini auction that happens the year after. And in that, because of the holes available, they go for some crazy pricing. And I think this unhealthy trend should stop. Now, I have two solutions. A, anybody coming in the mini auction after they've been released from the major auction can only go to the ceiling of the price that they've been bought in the major auction. So that there is no, I think, bad blood among the players who have done well and have been retained in that team. Most of the players who have been released into the mini auction have come through because probably they haven't had a great year. And I don't think they should go for a price that is higher than what they achieved in the major auction. The second one, in case a player hasn't been part of the major auction and comes through to the mini auction, I think he can only go up to the point of the highest paid player in that team. Whatever money he is bid for beyond that should be given back to the BCCI. I have a feeling that will probably ensure sanity to some point. It is still a tad bit unfair, but I think that is the best way to go, because I see a lot of foreign players actually using that as a loophole and don't come as part of the major auction, come through only to the mini auction and then obviously earn what they could earn twice or sometimes three times more of what they could have earned in the major auction. Just an idea. I thought I should get this out. It is something that the BCCI can think about, but it is a matter of time before BCCI comes down clamping on how it is done in these mini auctions, and that it needs to be done so that the players who have been bought in the major auction and have done well for their franchisees don't really feel done by, because at the end of the day, they go for a prize when they are a part of 100, 200 player pool, they go for a certain price point. Definitely, if they come in the mini auction, they'll go for a lot more. A great case in point is Jasprit Bumrah. He's at 11 crores. Now, if a younger bowler comes through or a foreign bowler comes through and gets twice the price or more than that, I don't know if it will sit well, knowing the skill set of what a Bumrah has to get 50% and perform even better than some of the bowlers that have been bought in the auction, but still not be paid well enough. So at some point, it could be an issue, and before it gets out of hand, I think BCCI needs to understand what needs to be done and provide a solution. I've given a couple of ideas as to what can be done. I guess it's up to the BCCI to decide.